So tell me if you ever experienced this. You play legitimately, no spoofing, no scanning, no bots, and you built up a pretty good collection with some decent Pokemon with some decent IVs, and then you decide to go on a Pokemon Go Facebook group, or you go to FSUATL's YouTube channel and you just see screenshots of an army of perfect IV Pokemon. And then you think to yourself, as a legitimate player, do I have any chance of actually catching up to these people who use cheats? Alright, so it may seem like an impossibility as a legitimate player to have a collection that's just as strong as someone who spoofs, who scans, who uses trackers or hacks or bots or anything like that. But I'm here to tell you that if you're a legitimate player, you do have a chance at getting a ridiculously strong collection of Pokemon, and there's really only two things you have to worry about. I bet you that these two things that I'm going to be talking about today, you're probably already doing them on a daily basis, but I'm telling you that if you focus all of your gameplay on these two aspects of the game, you're going to have a ridiculously good collection. This guide is primarily going to be geared towards legitimate players, but I'm pretty sure that there are spoofers and scanners who might find some useful tips out of this video. So let's get started. So I'm going to talk about my own personal collection. I have plenty of Dragonites, I have plenty of Snorlaxes. I've been playing pretty hardcore for the last year that the game has been out, and overall, I really haven't touched spoofing at all. I haven't really used scanners much. I did dabble with it a little bit, and I have to admit that some of my really good Pokemon I did get through scanning, but overall, I just didn't like the aspect of, you know, looking up the location of a Pokemon and driving to it. I felt like it took a little bit out of the game, but in general, I have nothing against people who use this stuff. It's just not for me. So the first thing I'm going to be talking about today is all about hatching eggs. I think when it comes to perfect IV Pokemon, pretty much all of them down the board, I got them through hatching eggs. This is probably the most tried and true method for getting some of the highest IVs in the game, but I think a lot of people don't realize that most perfect IV Pokemon are surely going to come from eggs. So, of course, when you're hatching eggs, there's going to be a lot of, there's going to be a lot of very crappy Pokemon that you're going to be getting. You're going to have some frustration, you're going to have some disappointment. I've hatched a ton of 10k eggs, and I can't tell you how many times I've gotten Skarmory or Sudowoodo or Jinx back in the day. And honestly, having like 100 of those to get like one Larvitar with 93% IVs, it's totally worth it. Sometimes you can hit the jackpot, get like 100% IV Dratini. I've certainly gotten one through eggs. It was a very exciting day, and that's probably your best bet. If you want to focus on just collecting IVs, I really suggest instead of catching, you just turn on the game and then you just go for a walk and just go for a walk, or go for a jog, go for a bike ride, whatever it is, but just hatch as many eggs as you possibly can. My recommendation is that you hatch at least 2 to 3 eggs a day. That's really not much. It's like 15 kilometers at least if you have just the free incubator. But if you have multiple incubators, obviously you're going to double or triple that per day. So I really suggest just hatching at least 2 to 3. Ideally, you want to hatch about 10 a day, but it's really up to you how much you want to dedicate towards getting perfect IV Pokemon. The average, I want to say, out of 100 eggs, you're probably going to get maybe like 10 of them that are actually worthwhile. For me, the last 80 eggs that I've hatched, I've only gotten 2 that I'm actually willing to keep. The rest were basically just for Stardust and candies. You have to be willing to go through those kinds of disappointment to get the reward at the end. The second thing I want to talk about is something that's a little bit more relevant right now, and that is doing raid battles. I think a lot of people are doing raid battles right now for golden raspberries going towards those legendaries, or rare candies for Pokemon that they already have, or TMs, but I don't think the Pokemon that you can potentially get through these raid battles get enough attention. And I'm not just talking about legendaries. So if you're looking for a good collection of perfect IV Pokemon, I really suggest doing as many raids as you can, whatever level it is. If you're in a rural area and you can't really do too many of the level 4s or the legendary raids, at least push for like a level 3 raid if you're level 30 plus. Some of them are soloable and they're really useful in the meta right now. and of course any level 1s and level 2s. I actually have a I actually have a 98% IV for Alligator. That's all from the raid battles. I got a 100% Cyndaquil, also from the raid battles. I think it's called Typhlosion, but yeah. But in any case, yeah, you know, raid battles are actually extremely valuable for boosting your collection, and some of the raid battles right now, I don't know what it is, maybe it's just this season, but some of those Pokemon are extremely useful. You got Machamp, you got Alakazam, you got Gengar. These are all extremely useful right now for raids, and they're going to be even more useful once, you know, Mewtwo comes out and Ho-Oh comes out, different things like that. They're going to be extremely strong. So you want to go for these Pokemon specifically, but if you live in a very populated area and can complete legendary raids, those are the ones you should definitely be doing. But in any case, yeah, what this means is you're going to need a whole bunch of Pokecoins to get as many egg incubators and as many raid passes as you possibly can. These are the two items that I suggest you only get at the shop. It's not worth it to get lures or, you know, incense or even lucky eggs, because, you know, when you hatch eggs, you get plenty of experience that way as well. Yeah, overall, those are the two items that I suggest getting. If you need bag space and Pokemon storage space still, definitely get those first. But if you're in a good place with that, start focusing on just purchasing eggs and raid passes. So anyway, yeah, those are my tips for how to get perfect IV Pokemon. Again, I'm just speaking off mostly my own experience, mostly off the experience of other players. A lot of people who spoof and scan, obviously they're going to have really strong collections, but most of them are just going to get it by sitting in their living room, using their cheats, and they're not really going to get them through hatching eggs and raids. And this is really the way that most legitimate players can potentially catch up with spoofers and scanners. I think scanning is actually kind of irrelevant right now for perfect IVs, because I think Niantic randomized IVs for every Pokemon per player. So even if a scanner does show up 100% IV Pokemon, it may not be 100% for that player, but I could be wrong with this. I gotta do some more research. But in any case, yeah, for legitimate players, I really respect you. You're really grinding it out, and if you really want some really good Pokemon with perfect IVs, try checking out some of these tips. Go out, hatch as many eggs as you possibly can, go participate in as many raids as you can, and see your collection grow. And yeah, that's all I have to say for this video, folks. If you end up enjoying it, make sure you hit that thumbs up button. Make sure you subscribe to me for more Pokemon Go videos like this one, and I will catch you all later. Peace!